Nyamaza. On air with presenter Ali.
Hii ni On Air with presenter Ali, and of course today niko na jamaa mmoja who is an expert in matters finance, investment and insurance. And of course nataka tuzungumzie issue moja because the other day during a public participation ya Gachagua impeachment tuliona watu wengi including MPs, many political leaders and youth who are actually invited at the Bomas of Kenya to give their opinion na pia participate. And of course one thing that happened is that Morara Kebaso was supposed to be there, but initially alikatazwa kuingia, but then he managed somehow, lakini pia hakupata nafasi ya kuzungumza. So when he was trying to speak, we saw people throwing chairs at him, and right now allegedly he is at the hospital and he sustained injuries. Now I want us to have a conversation, give or take the fact that Morara might have insurance, right? Do you think Morara will or should be compensated? Mr. Jerry.
Thank you, Ali. As he's mentioned, my name is Jerry. Areas and expertise in matters, tax, investments, finance, and insurance policies. And, it's an interesting one because general assumption is that huyu jamaa mwanzo kuna insurance policy.
Yes. Yeah.
Na when politics comes to play, or others call them natural calamities and other things that are not insured, inafanya kuchangamisha watu in terms of they are not sure whether the insurance will pay you or not.
Yeah.
And we should not assume also that Morara akona policy. First of all, does he have a policy?
That's the first question.
Yeah, that's the first question. Yeah. And also we look around issues that are perhaps make people not to have policy. And maybe to also give an example here, I saw one of the videos. I've been trying to follow up this guy and see his ideologies and where he comes from. And he did a video a few months ago where he was advising people in his street business. He's successful matters business at his young age. And his argument was that instead of paying a policy, say especially this education, this savings, why can't you take a loan so that you start business and this business enables you to pay the loan and you still be growing. From a business perspective, as a business person, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, why will I save for eventualities, for future use and eventualities in between here, yet I can actually grow this? Ninde nichukue pesa sako bank niwekele kwa biashara grow. I mean, if you're coming from an informed perspective, he makes a lot of sense. But there are two issues with that argument. Foremost, he's not comparing mangoes to mangoes. Yeah, I mean, these are two different products. Doing different things for you. So he's not comparing the likes with the likes. He's comparing two different things. Then number two are the prevailing circumstances in terms of you even accessing the loan. You see, he's held all other factors constant. He's assuming someone who can pay a premium of 50,000 can also easily do what? Access a loan of that amount. Or someone who can access such kind of a loan can also be able to pay that kind of premium. So, I mean, how many people are right now in our society today, are having that ability or perhaps assets elsewhere, or even friends in a circle to guarantee him or her loan that, installments are up to 50,000. Let's even take 20 for instance. So those two aspects really tells you that he's not comparing mango to mango. And I mean, dwell in that later. Let's just focus on whether he will be compensated or not. And also it touches on things that we do wrong when actually also buying insurance policy. There's something called, the policy document, the agreement now between you and the insurance company.
Yes.
people fail to read the fine print. I'm lucky to have worked for a law firm for over 7 years now. I've consulted for a number of them. Personally, I've audited circles that are being managed by even these insurance companies. I know how investments and savings work in circles. And we fail to read the fine print in terms of, an insurance term can say this, but there are those small bits that you have to do what to meet this criteria. So you read, it will do this for you, but you fail to read the criteria. I'll give you an example. If the policy document says that you disclose what business you do, then you assume, you just say businessman. You don't even go into details and saying which business. Then they end up finding out that really this guy was not even a businessman. He died under known circumstances. That was his business. Let's do a good example. You didn't disclose you're a boxer. You just said you're a sportsman. But under the terms, who are not meeting this criteria for this policy are professional athletes that are engaged in those activities that are risky to their lives. So unaenda unapigwa jab moja mbili hospitali, sijui clot and stuff like that, you go claim. Ukisoma fine print kule chini, you ought to have disclosed. They are not discriminating against you. They are simply saying the moment you disclose, they analyze and say, look, we are not going to cover you, but there is a product for you. Or rather, you will have an addition to this premium that others are paying because you are a high risk. You didn't say you are a deep sea swimmer, you didn't disclose. Diver. Sorry. You see, you didn't disclose those kinds of things. So you are at a higher risk than other people. Political skirmishes and natural calamities ideally were not covered even in the old days. But thanks to technology and insurance companies are, developing, and they are coming with products. And if actually it's not a product for exactly that cover, that particular thing they're covering, you realize they bring some things on board called drivers. So probably Morara has a policy, but in his policy, did he even have a rider that says add this small premium to cover you for even political eventualities, or for natural calamities and stuff like that? If they are not there, or probably they are there, but he didn't even just check that box or say, add this to my policy, then you see he stands a risk of doing what? Not being compensated. Because, that is it's a unique eventuality on its own. Most insurance companies run away from it because they are unforeseeables that are, we really have no control, and they are mostly recurring eventualities that, no one wants to take. They are high risks.
Okay, maybe I think I have an interesting question. Morara initially, he had an insurance. Let's just say he had an insurance cover, and let's say he had a whole life policy. And he was not as popular as he is right now, of course. Right now he's more popular, and given the circumstances that Morara is now a leader, is now more susceptible to abduction, which it means that something might happen to him that we really don't know any time, because the other day he was just abducted and we didn't know. So in a way, he's a high risk client. Do you think the policy should be reviewed, or iko tu sawa venye ilikuwa kabla? I don't think. What do you think about the question?
A very interesting question. A policy is an agreement. Ukishachukua bima, it becomes as it is. It's not a moving target. You don't go changing terms with time, unless there are terms that are changeable, which are also disclosed in there. And in terms of probably the benefits was bigger, you want to reduce it because of your now finances. Those are allowed here and there. But the terms, why you are taking it, the few that can change, perhaps, you see, is maybe you are older now, and your income probably is reducing because of more responsibilities. You feel like reduce that benefit and give me a smaller benefit for this package or for this budget. Those are allowed. But you've changed your profession, you want to change these policy terms now. You see, that's not allowed. They advise you to do one thing: take a different one. for that particular aspect now.
Yeah.
They can't go adding and dropping some things that perhaps also, you see, insurance coming to do an agreement with you, they have planned. If you're taking a 10-year plan, they have planned with you.
Yes.
In these 10 years with this money, we're going to invest in these particular things to enable us pay you the 10 times amount, 7 times amount, depending on your age and your package amount to your beneficiaries, or rather, or perhaps to give you this specific amount at the end of the policy period. I mean, for education or for investment, for the other things that you want to do. So they don't have that document like a movie target, like to be changing with changing times now. But banks do. I mean, when you take a loan and the CBK regulator changes the interest agreements. Actually, that disclaimer down there, that this interest that you're charging you might change with changes with what? With regulator.
Yeah.
Insurance, rarely. It doesn't, yes.
Okay, but here's the problem. Many people normally would say that mimi kama Morara, niko na babu yangu ameniachia mashamba, niko na biashara zangu, niko na ng'ombe probably, niko na shamba yangu mahali pale Kisii. Why do I need a cover?
Interesting. You see, and I tell my friends most of the time that, I mean, quantify all that, then divide it amongst your siblings. What is yours there? Then do two things. Quantify what you want to leave for your children in terms of investment. That's one, put it aside. Then tell yourself, in case of an eventuality right now, that I cannot even me myself be capable to manage whatever I have here, to enable me by the time I'm 70, 80, it will still be bigger or whatever it is, and give back to them. Individually comes here, will I be able to still give this to them? Let's take a practical example. Currently, you are worth, Ali, perhaps 5 million, 6 million. That's your worth, isn't it?
Yeah.
God forbid, I mean, God forbid, we curse it. Critical illness happens. Say cancer. Ali, you need like 3, 4, let's say even 3 million for proper treatment. And you see, after that, simply also means you won't be able to manage the 10 that you're worth or the 5 that you're worth.
Yes.
So, each and every one of us is just but one big medical bill away from poverty.
Wow.
One away from poverty. In that, even what you've worked on for so long, so many years, is at risk simply because you didn't contribute for something as cheap as 5,000-6,000 shillings every month to enable you. Not that you are losing that 5-6, it's your investment still. You are going to reap from it. At the same time, riders come in that are allowing you to access another 1 million or 2 in case of critical illnesses. There's this confusion about medical cover and life insurance. So somebody will tell you, but I have a medical cover to treat me. This is what people don't get. In patients' medical cover, they will tell you you've covered to a limit of how much? Say 2 million, 3 million.
Yes.
They fail to understand that 2 million, 3 million is, number one, divided among his family members. Number two, it is capped per every particular type of disease.
Okay.
So that when you have a medical cover, when you now that critical illness comes in, and you go to the hospital for them to pay the bill, 1 million, nakwambia, this is capped at 250,000.
Yes.
But when you take life insurance, for instance, they tell you we are taking these special critical illnesses. Others take 5, others 6, others 8. The likes of cancer, tumor, the likes of incapacitation. You see, and they tell you in case of any of them, depending on how much you're paying and what you took to sign for, they give you up to 3-4 million shillings.
Yes.
For that particular one.
Yes.
So you see, while your worth now is 4-5 million, 3 million, 1,500,000 shillings that you work for, there are chances that it can all be swept by one medical bill, which could have prevented by just taking a policy. And thanks to technology, insurance was meant for the rich. It was not to be the perception even today. Just meant for a few. And they think it is insurance, you just put that excess that you don't need money. You see, people have stopped looking at insurance as just where I dumped my excesses. I'm saving there because, you know, it is looked at right now as a investment. And there's one community, I'm not afraid to mention, Indians are doing very well with that. I mean, there's something called generational wealth. You know for sure, I mean, and this speaks volumes to parents. You know for sure, I already have kids. The best I can do right now is to invest for them. And what else will I leave them? Look at the best case scenario. You will be 80 and 90. You will be even 70 go. And insurance will pay you 10 times. They ask you, put 1 million, will give you 10 million. Depending on your age. If you take earlier, the better. If you take late 40s, maybe 7 times the amount. Put this for 10 years, then you will have your 1 million, invested it. Then you will give your future generation 10 million. You see, it's just like another land you bought somewhere. You see, and I mean, after at the prime age, you change beneficiary. You see, you can wajuku vituku. Put all of them, and you see one child of yours is probably not doing better than the other ones. Add a bigger percentage for them, you know, at a mature age. You see, prime age now. For 10 years, and you see, it's 1 million that you are putting, not one someone asking you. Is a budget of how much? Maybe 6,000 shillings every month. And I mean, thanks to technology right now, it was considered as a risky venture, but calculations have made it so cheap and affordable to any other person. Currently in our society today, you get some underwriters enabling you to get a life policy for as little as 3,100, 3,200, 3,500. 5,000, 6,000 you're getting at even prime age of 40 years, you can still get for 5,000, 6,000 shillings. And it's an investment, and you still have those riders that are protecting you against the what? These critical illnesses. Hizi zingine wachana nazo.
Let's go back kidogo kwa hii kesi ya Morara.
Yes.
Aligongwa. He was injured. Assume he was injured mahali, and later on mahali amekuwa injured, si ameenda hospitali, maybe ikakuwa covered by the inpatient one. But then looking at the way it was, maybe God forbid he sustained an internal injury in later on in his later years might cause his demise. So how does insurance take work when it comes to that?
Now that's his death compensation percentage. The policy stipulates the causes of death, what really caused the death. And that's why, you know, na watu wengine wanachukua policy after 6-7 months anajua kameiva. Wengine they commit suicide.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because it's death. I mean, it is death. Sasa lipa watu wangu. That is like sacrifice. You sacrifice. You know, you cannot afford to pay policy at 20-50,000. You check because ya 50,000 iko na benefit ya 50 million.
Yes.
Unasema hao tunafikiri ni wajanja. Then you know obvious policies don't commit suicide, but the avenues, the causes of your death ni nini basically? The suicide. Unajaribu kuplay games. I can assure you, Ali, that is a big industry. They are well connected. I mean, they are well wired in terms of they'll do their investigations, so that any case of death like Morara now, you see, there are medical reports that come also. They do the investigations themselves as well, so that those are some of the things that actually sometimes delay compensation, because wakati wanashuku what really caused death, they need to do their investigations, and they invest heavily there, because the moment you do that, you form a precedence. Somebody will go to court with it and say, this one was compensated based on these circumstances. So they are protecting what they are building for the rest that are actually genuine. So, kama diagnosiwa na kichote kwa kichwa, iligongwa pengine, na hiyo later ita cause death, watauliza tu, you see, what were the circumstances? This last doctor we signing died at this time. What caused? Ataandika kichwa, historic, narudi nyuma. We remember this guy was doing, and it's actually unfortunate for the public figures because information is there in public domain. So it trickles down. I mean, it comes down to politics. If you don't take politics as a rider on top or as a benefit there, I mean,
he won't be compensated.
Wow.
That is crazy. But someone might also think like, eventually, nitakufa. Unajua, there's this saying that people normally say that, mbona ni investi pesa ikuliwe tu na watu wengine. Mbona nisikule tu hii pesa ni enjoy. Then time nitakufa hiyo ni, you know.
I look at it to perspective. Number one is as a family person. I mean, I was sharing with you guys the other day that me in the next 2, 3, 4 years, I mean, well, you guys will be struggling to pay your kids' fees. Me, I paid my fees when I was still able.
Yes.
Nilipambana sana na save kabla sijui mtudha and what have you. Me, I've done my policies. And these small monies here and there, you just waste here and there. I mean 3,000, 4,000, two per apple too. You know, I look at it to perspective. Number one, I mean, bro, the moment you're a parent banner, I mean, yeah. Don't be a deadbeat banner. Don't be a deadbeat.
Really?
Ni kweli. Mtu wewe unamwachia nani bro? Damu yako inakuwa mzito, unajua. So si watu wengine. I mean, it is people you hold so close and dear into your heart. Unajua. Na zimekuwa affordable. Hiyo number 1 na younger level. Number 2, you also at risk. You see, you also because cancer ikikuja ni unaumia. Unajua, TB, diabetes, whatever this, I mean, COVID ilikuja juzi, unajua. Ni wewe unaumia. Because
so right now kuna iko kwa insurance hai.
I mean, look here, yes, those are the natural calamities you can put in there.
Okay.
And that's why if you ask me many times, I prefer the writers who are global. Kenya kiban saizi watu wamedisappear wote, God forbid, you know. Nikichukua an insurance that is global, I mean, niko at safer hands other than a local one.
Yeah.
But know that we have very good ones hapa. I mean, I don't just mention names on your channel. Walete kakitu kwanza.
Yes. Walipia matangazo.
Walete kakitu kwanza. So, personally, I know right now, at least, I'll have some layback plan. Nona. Me mwenye. Sasa, it's not all about wengine wana benefit. And, I mean, sorry to use this example. I've worked so hard for what I own now and and right now, you know. I mean, why just risk it? What's the difference between me? And I did a video, one of my channels, and I was actually trying to convince a friend, look, this thing is good for us. We are parents now, have to be responsible. I mean, we owe these people explanation in future. What do you leave for them? I did a video and I was telling my friend, look, take this, and you say, you see, what's life all about? You know, God controls everything. He's the one who gives, he's the one who takes if he wants. I mean, why should I even take a police to cover it? If he wants, he'll give me. If he wants, he'll take. And I compared this argument to those who are actually well off in their life, took everything, their children, went to Shakahola. I call that Shakahola mentality. Submitted everything before God. Look, God, here I am. What is that, Ali? You get? Why subject all these things to risks, yet you can afford? Not that you can't afford. There are small monies here and there, put and protect what you've worked for.
Yes.
And again, I'm not saying I'll die now, my people be compensated now for that, I don't know, millions. I'm simply saying, look, I can also be 70, but who even have a piece of land say somewhere worth 1 million shillings? How many among us are peers are on your side? I mean, you see, you say, my kids are being picked by bus, my kids are wearing shoes to school, I mean, they're taking breakfast. I mean, I'm doing better than my parents, whatever my parents did to me. Please, even the standards of better have changed. They're being picked by bus. Hata ushago sote wanachukuliwa na bus wanavaa viatu. We should be doing way much better. Kids are being flown choppers from I mean, those are the standards now you get.
Yes.
So if you are just affording them breakfast and whatever and being picked in the morning, you are just doing equally the same what the parents did. Standards of better have changed. Now best is, I mean, what a group of schools.
Wow. I've been having a conversation with Jerry, who's an expert in matters tax, finance, investment, insurance. And of course, if you have any questions and you feel like you have unanswered questions, you can reach him through the number on your screen. Thank you so much for coming.
Sure.
I really appreciate it. And I think I've actually learned a lot. And for those who are asking if Morara would be compensated, I think you've actually got the answer. My name is Presenter Ali, your entertainment peer. This has been On Air with Presenter Ali.